What I'm going to show you is how to generate sales conversations with business owners on demand, where they're actually asking you to learn more about what you can do to help them to market their business. Our biggest problem right now is that I'm generating too many sales conversations. I mean, I can literally get like 30 positive conversations going with business owners who are asking how I can help them to market their business. My record so far is like a 14% response rate on some cold outreach that I did. And you're probably hearing this and you probably don't believe me. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't believe me if I hadn't seen it firsthand for myself. So I'm going to show you exactly what it is that I'm doing to generate these sales conversations. But just before that, I want to tell you a little bit about a problem that I'm having and see if we can help each other out. Because the reason why I say that getting this many leads is a problem is because I don't have the infrastructure to handle that many leads yet. So while I'm building that infrastructure, there are kind of three main things that I can do. And number one, sorry if I'm glancing down, I'm just looking at my notes. But number one is pausing the lead generation, which just seems like a bad idea. I mean, we all know how crazy it is in our industry where things get saturated. And I mean, if you find something that's working and then you stop doing it, a month later, everyone's doing it and it doesn't really work anymore. So I mean, pausing it isn't really an option. Number two is partnering with other agencies who can take these leads on a commission basis and then pay me once I've closed the deal, which I have tried doing. But the main problems I found is, number one, I've got at least one person who has like taken these leads and basically ripped me off. Number two is that it's really time consuming. And as I said, my problem is that I'm trying to build my own infrastructure, so I don't really have time for that. Number three is, let me just check what I've written down. Oh yeah, it's not great for cash flow. So I mean, if I'm doing a lot of outreach and kind of waiting to get paid, it doesn't really work for cash flow. The third option is that I could just sell the leads directly to another agency who needs leads and can close them and make a profit on them. I think that that's the best option, to be honest. But the problems that I'm having with that is that it's difficult to find someone who both has the budget to invest in leads and has the capacity to take on new clients. So I did promise that I'm going to show you exactly what it is that I'm doing to generate these leads. So I'm going to show you that, and then if that's interesting to you, then we'll see if we can help each other out at the end of this video. So let's have a look at that now. So to make a long story short, I'm a bit of a nerd, and what I've done is put together some software that uses ChatGPT, OpenAI, to basically make a chatbot that speaks to business owners and tries to book them in for an appointment. It is somewhat limited, but it gives you a lot of scale in what it does, and it speaks relatively human-like. At least in the first few messages. That's why if you look at these are the stages that people are at. So like interested, manual. What manual means is that you would just respond to the person yourself at this point. Because I've limited it so that the bot only answers a couple times, because if a bot conversation goes on for too long, it starts revealing that it's a bot. But anyway, if we look at this, all of these are different responses. The responses that are blue have new messages in them that I haven't responded to yet. But if we look at this is showing 1 to 25 of 700 conversations that took me not very long to generate. These are all conversations. Any conversation that goes into this is someone who is at least somewhat interested. These are people who have been contacted to ask them if they're interested in marketing services, and they've responded that they would like to hear more. But something changed recently, and I've actually changed my approach to how I'm doing this software. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the change is and why things are even better than the results that you see here. So what I'm going to admit is that I am really late to the GoHighLevel bandwagon. Like, I've literally been hearing about it for the past couple years, but I always try to avoid any kind of monthly subscriptions that I can. The same thing as like Zapier. Like, I've used that a few times, but I only really use it when I really need to. So I've been avoiding GoHighLevel, but that software that I just showed you that I wrote, the back end works really well, but it's not very user friendly. So there's not really a way that I can, well, as it is, have team members work on it with me. And GoHighLevel allows you to have just multiple people in there jumping in the conversations and so on. But it is lacking in a few places. It is really good software, don't get me wrong, but like there's a few things that like my software does that it doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that it does that my software doesn't, but there's a few things that my software does that GoHighLevel doesn't just do out of the box. But what I've found is there's a few things that I've put in here manually to upgrade it so that GoHighLevel, the places where it was lacking, it kind of upgrades it. So like one of the things that GoHighLevel has built in is like an intent scanner. So it will tell you, or it will tell your bot, whether the person has given a positive reply or a negative reply. But that's not specific enough, because what happens when you get stuff like if the person says who's this and whatever different things, it's not really tailored enough. So what we did is we wrote a custom prompt in ChatGPT, which like it's quite long inside of here, but it helps it to categorize it. So whether the person's not interested, whether it's a neutral response, whether they're interested, very interested, or whether they're requesting an appointment. And that is kind of the magic of writing a prompt properly. And then besides that, another big thing that I found, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it seems like GoHighLevel, if you write a bot in GoHighLevel, it doesn't track your whole conversation. It just remembers what the last message was. And so if you've got a conversation that's say like 10 messages long, it's going to start contradicting itself. As your bot says more stuff, the contradictions and just inaccurate and confused stuff that it says just piles up. So what we've done is we've made a way of storing the conversation so that the bot can look at the whole conversation and know what was said, so that its responses make a lot more sense. So all in all, what we've done is we've made a bot that basically handles the first part of the conversation for you to get it to the point that you're only having to talk to warm leads. You're not having to speak to all these random people who are still on the stage of who's this or do I need marketing, all that kind of stuff. As your bot gets more advanced, it's going to be able to take more and more of the sales process away from you so that you can just concentrate on the most valuable parts of the sale, which is essentially attending the appointments or confirming the appointments, attending the appointments, and closing deals. So if you're looking to set more sales appointments for your agency and you feel like a system like this will be helpful for you, then there are two options if you want to work with me. And the first option is that I can just set up a system similar to this for you, and all you need to do is turn it on and generate those appointments. The second option is that I said I've got too many leads, so I can just carry on running my system and you can buy some of those excess leads from me if that's easier for you. Besides that, as I say, I'm doing this temporarily whilst I'm building my infrastructure to take on those leads. And for that reason, I can only really work with 3 to 5 other agencies to make sure that it doesn't get saturated and that I still have time to work on my infrastructure. So I'm only willing to work with people who are really dedicated and are actually going to call the leads and are actually going to set appointments and attend appointments and close deals. So if that sounds like you and you're interested, then send me a message or leave a comment below this video. Thanks.